Erik, E-R-I-K, last name Fredricks, F-R-E-D-R-I-C-K-S.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So where did you work in 2010?
Nick's Guns.
And what is Nick's Guns?
It's a gun shop and range.
Okay, and what do they do?
We sell firearms, accessories. We also have a range for customers to shoot on the premises.
Okay. What were your duties at the range?
I was a general manager.
Okay, and as general manager, did you oversee all the operations?
Yes, sir.
And you stated that part of the function was to sell weapons.
Yes, sir.
Is there any paperwork from the U.S. government involved when you sell a weapon?
Yes, there is.
And what is that paperwork?
It's a federal form known as Form 4473.
What's the purpose of 4473?
It is to verify the identity of the buyer and also to verify whether or not they're eligible legally to own a firearm.
And are you required to maintain that form?
Yes, sir.
And do you maintain those forms if you sell the weapon?
Yes.
Are you subject to inspection by the federal government concerning these forms?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Judge?
You may.
I hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit number 43. Would you identify this item for me, please?
This would be the Form 4473.
Okay. Do you recognize that particular form?
This is for a Bursa Thunder. I do not recall this particular sale. However, all the information is here showing that we did in fact do our diligence in verifying the original buyer's identity. And you can also see on page 2 where we called the background check into the FBI to verify his eligibility.
My question to you, is that a form that was maintained by Nick's Gun Shop? Was that form generated by your gun shop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was a weapon that was sold by Nick's Gun Shop?
Yes.
Okay, and you maintain those forms in the normal course of business?
Yes.
And subject to a subpoena, did you supply us that form?
I did.
Okay. Has that form been altered in any fashion that you can tell?
This is a photocopy, however.
You maintain the original, correct?
At the moment, no. We have changed businesses. The original would have been sent to the ATF art office in West Virginia, where it's archived.
So you would have provided us a copy?
Yes, sir. Oh, at the time, yes, I would have.
Yes.
There's nothing on here that looks amiss, however. Everything
Okay.
looks normal.
Your Honor, at this time, I move to admit States 43 as a business record from Nick's Gun Shop and Range.
Any objections, Mr. Peters?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted without objection.
What was the-
Motion to the jury if you wish.
Yes, Judge. What date did you sell the weapon on that form?
Let's see. April 8th, 2010.
Okay. Now, and I think you may have said this, but are these forms required for every single weapon you sell?
Yes.
Can you sell a weapon without generating this form?
Not legally, no.
And you're going to do it legally, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Who did you sell, or did Nick's sell that weapon to?
Mr. Jan de Silva.
Okay. And what weapon was sold?
A Bursa pistol. I have serial number and make and model on the third page here. It was a Thunder in 40 Smith & Wesson.
Okay, when you say a pistol, are you describing a revolver or an automatic?
Semi-automatic handgun.
Okay, it would be one that ejects shells when fired?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Bursas?
Yes.
Is that a new model or new weapon when it was sold, or do you know?
The firearm itself was new, yes.
Okay, is the model new? Was it something new from Bursa, or do you know?
At the time, the make would have been about 4 or 5 years old, if I'm correct.
Okay. Do Bursas come with test fire shells?
Yes, they do.
Okay, do they always come with test fire shells?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, and what is a test fire shell, or what's the purpose of having that with a gun?
It serves 2 purposes. Some makers keep them as proof that they have test fired the gun, and in some localities, that shell is required to be turned over to local law enforcement if that locality requires the registration of firearms.
And what would be the purpose of turning over that shell to law enforcement?
The claim is that they can do a certain sort of ballistic fingerprinting to match shell casings to the gun.
Okay, translated, if another shell casing was fired by that weapon, it would match the original one?
It very well could.
Okay, okay. And with 43 in, Judge, that's all I have.
Mr. Peters, is this your witness? You may cross-examine.
Your Honor, we have no questions for this witness.
Lawyers, may Mr. Fredricks be released and excused from speaking?
No objection, sir.
No objection.
You're free to go, sir. Have a good day. Drive safe. Sorry, next witness.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can leave that-
Rafael, Del Valle.
Excuse me, leave that exhibit, sir. Thank you. You can go, but leave my exhibit.
State and spell your name for the record.
My name is Rafael Del Valle. First name Rafael, last name Del, capital Valle.
Judge, may we approach quickly?
Oh, you may. Come on up, lawyers. Let me just... All right, we're back on the record.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, how are you employed?
I am the national sales manager for Eagle Imports Incorporated.
And what does Eagle Imports?
Eagle Imports is the exclusive U.S. importer for Bersa firearms.
And where are Bersa firearms imported from?
Bersa firearms are imported from Argentina.
And is that the only place they're manufactured?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've been down to the factory?
Yes, sir.
What are your general duties as the national manager?
I kind of handle all of the marketing aspects, building catalogs, working with the website, and I also deal with all of our customers as far as booking out orders and allocating product and that sort of thing.
Okay, so essentially, you're in charge of bringing Bersa firearms to dealers and sellers in this country.
Yeah, I'm in charge of basically, we sell to firearms distributors only, so I'm in charge of working with them and getting them the product that they need throughout the year, and then they in turn would sell to the dealers throughout the country.
Does your job require you to be familiar with the Bersa product line?
Yes.
Okay, are you familiar with a... Judge, I'm going to show the witness State's Exhibit number 43.
You may.
Okay.
This is an ATF form. Are you familiar with this form?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the weapon that's described in the form, can you look at the weapon that's described in the form?
Yes, sir. It states here that this was a Bersa Thunder in .40 caliber.
Are you familiar with that weapon?
Yes, sir.
Describe that weapon, basically.
This is it's a full-size Bersa pistol in .40 caliber. It holds 13 rounds.
Is there anything, well, is that a new model, an old model? When was that model produced?
This model was probably introduced, it was originally introduced probably '08, and then it went through a few cosmetic changes in '09. But, so yeah, it's been around for several years.
Okay. In the beginning of 2010, it wouldn't have been an old product line. It would have still been considered a fairly new product line?
Fairly new,
Okay.
new. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And did the Bersa come in just a .40 caliber? I mean, the Thunder?
No, sir. This particular model comes in a .40 caliber and a 9mm as well.
Okay. Is there anything unusual about the groove and twist for that model?
The barrel is done with polygonal rifling, which is just a certain type of rifling that different manufacturers use, but it's not unusual.
Does a Bersa, when sold new, come with a test fire casing?
Absolutely.
Okay, describe what that is and why.
When the product is manufactured at the factory, it goes through several magazines worth of test firing. At that point, the person that is in charge of the test firing will take one of the spent shell casings off the ground and put it into a sealed manila envelope. On that envelope will be written the date of the test fire, the serial number, and the type of weapon.
Okay, what is the serial number of the weapon that's on that?
Here it states that this serial number was A as in Adam 63434.
And did you verify if that was a weapon in fact made by Bersa?
Yes, sir.
And is it?
Yes.
Okay, so Bersa made the weapon
Yes, sir.
listed in that form.
Yes, correct.
Judge, may I now?
You may.
Were you asked to provide a demo copy of that weapon?
Yes, sir.
Did you do that?
I did. I brought it here to the courthouse yesterday.
And Mr. Gary, to my understanding, that weapon has been checked and cleared by my deputy.
It has, sir, and the firing pin has been removed from this weapon. It is on the pegboard, and there is a firing lock in the barrel.
All right, you may proceed.
It is marked as State's Exhibit 105, Judge.
You may approach.
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to place this here.
Okay.
And would you look at State's 105?
Yes, sir.
Is that the model weapon that you provided?
Yes, sir. This is the model that I brought.
Judge, I do not enter this into evidence. This is a demo only. I intend to return it to Bursa when it's over, so it's just for demonstration or demonstrative.
So noted.
Yes, sir. Would you please look at 105?
Yes, sir.
Is that, or would it be identical to the Bursa model described in the ATF forms in front of you?
Yes, sir. We were asked to run this serial number, and this particular gun that is here is the exact same color and model of the one that we ran a trace on.
And confirm that I told the judge correct, the firing pin has been removed and that will not operate?
The firing pin has been removed, and that gun will not operate.
And with the reservation that I'm not putting the weapon into evidence that it's demonstrative, sir, that's all I have.
All right. You may cross-examine if you wish.
No, we have no questions for Mr. Valle.
Okay.
And Mr. Gary, did you want to display this to the jury at this time?
I would like to, sir.
You may.
May I approach the jury, sir?
You may.
And Judge, it also has a magazine clip, which I have not included on the board.
There's a magazine clip here so they can see that also?
I have not brought it to court, Your Honor. If I put it in the weapon slide would work, and I don't want it to work.
All right.
I'll return it over here to the deputy judge.
You may. Thank you. Lawyers, may Mr. Valle?
Del Valle, yes, sir.
Valle, may he be released and excused from his subpoena?
No objection, sir.
Mr. Peters?
No objection.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you, Your
Have a
Honor.
good day. Drive safely. Call our next witness.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Del Valle, I have one question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you were
No,
done.
you're-
Come on back up, sir. No, come back up.
You're correct, Judge. I want to ask the court a question before I might have to have him authenticate something. My intention is to have that weapon go back with the jury, although I don't want to admit it because I don't want it to become part of the record since it's not the weapon.
I understand.
Will the court, as is, let it go back to the jury, or do you require me to admit it?
Well, let me see if there's any objection from the defense.
Your Honor, whatever the court's preference is on that, it's fine with us.
All right. Since Mr. Peters has no objection, it will, and it can go out to the jury as a demonstrative aid, because you're not telling them this is the weapon that quote-unquote was or was not used.
Correct.
This is just for demonstrative purpose so they can have some idea on how it may appear and feel, weight and size and content.
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir. Thank you, sir. And then the witness is excused.
Now, excuse me, before he leaves, are you also going to have a clip provided, or are you just going to have the weapon itself?
I was going to do as is, Judge. I was not going to include it.
That's fine, because I believe you testified that it may hold up to 13 rounds.
13 rounds, yes, sir.
But that's 13 rounds with a clip.
Inside the clip, yes, sir.
All right. That means it fires multiple times with the clip?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if ammunition is supplied.
Yeah, in fact, it won't fire without the magazine inside of it, if it had a firing pin and was capable of firing.
All right. In that case, you may go at this point in time and it will be allowed to go back for demonstrative purposes.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, hold on, but any other questions before I let him come down? Let me make sure. Let's speak.
No, sir.
All right, you come on down.
Okay.
Have a safe trip, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Call your next witness.
Yes, sir. State calls Zach Turharp.
State and spell your name for the record.
Zachariah Terhark, Zachariah, Terhark, Terhark.
Go ahead, spell your last name again.
Terhark.
Thank you. And how do you pronounce it?
Terhark.
Terhark.
Yes.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Terhark.
Excuse me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
He's with you.
May I proceed, Judge?
You may.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, how are you employed?
I work in online advertising and I manage gunlistings.org.
And What is gunlistings.org, sir?
It's a free online gun classifieds website.
And what is the purpose of the website?
It's for people to list their guns for sale, other people to inquire and purchase them.
Does the website actually acquire the guns or possess the guns?
No, they do not.
Okay, it's just an information clearinghouse?
Yes.
Okay. And how does the website operate? What does it do?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase
How
that?
does it operate? How do you manage to accomplish this?
We have a website. People can go to the website. They go and they list their gun for sale. And then people can log on and see what guns are for sale and then email the person selling it and then try to meet up with them.
And do they also email you directly and then you put them in contact with the seller?
They email directly to the seller and the initial contact is stored in our database.
Okay. And does the website maintain that initial contact?
Yes, we store it indefinitely.
And is it just stored by computer?
It's stored online,
Okay.
an online database.
Does the public have access to that database?
No.
Is it secure?
Yes, it is.
And can anybody modify or change anything in there?
No, they cannot.
Okay. Are those things kept, are the emails kept in the normal course of business?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit number 44. Can you identify that item for me, please, sir?
Identify which...
Can you tell me what it is?
That is a database entry showing the inquiries about listings.
And was that produced by your company and provided to the state?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and is that accurate? It appear accurate and unchanged?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I would move to admit State's 44.
Any objection?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Miller, without objection, number 44, you may publish it to the jury.
Published, yeah. Okay, what does that exhibit say? Tell me what those listings are.
It shows two contacts from the NEUMAN at gmail.com to two different listings and two different sellers on two different items.
And who are the sellers of the weapons?
I don't know their identities, but their emails address are ksilvers04@windstream.net and jan_dasilva@yahoo.com.
Okay, and a potential purchaser would have sent these initial emails to gunlistings.com to contact these two individuals concerning their guns for sale.
Yes.
Okay, and then you stored the item.
Yes.
How involved, or are you involved in any subsequent activity between a purchaser and a seller after that's done?
We're not. We only store the first email, and then after that, all the emails between the buyer and seller are between them.
Okay, do you know what those weapons were?
I know that the one was a burst of 40.
Is that the one, is that the second email?
Yes, this is the second email by Da Silva.
Do you know what the other one was?
I don't offhand.
Okay.
But I have my papers in the room if you need.
No, that's fine. Now, do you put the parties together in any fashion? How does the seller actually communicate to the buyer?
Usually they email back and forth, or they'll email with their phone number, and then the seller will call them back or arrange a meeting place.
And again, you're not involved in any of that conduct or activity after
I'm
the
not.
initial?
No.
Judge, that's all I have.
Mr. Peters and Ms. Lee.
No questions, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I have one more, Judge.
You may.
One more. If a gun is sold through your listing, are you required to fill out an ATF form?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you only are an information provider, you're not involved in the sale in any way?
No, the transaction is between the buyer and seller only.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Peters. Lawyers, may Mr. Terhark be released and excused, Ms. Finch?
No objections.
No objection.
Thank you for coming, sir. Have a good day. Drive
Thank you.
safe.
Thanks.
Call your next witness.
Yes, sir. State calls Matt Muma, Judge.
Yes, sir.
State and spell your name for the record.
My name is Matthew Muma, Mattthewmuma.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, in October of 2010, how were you employed?
I was the manager of Wild West Traders.
And what does Wild West Traders do, sir?
We sell guns and we have a shooting range.
Okay, where are you located at, sir?
We're at 2445 Austell Road, Marietta, Georgia.
Okay. And at or in or around October of 2010, was Wild West open and operational?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you have a phone?
Yes, we did.
And do you remember what the phone number was?
It's 770-436-2218.
Okay, let me repeat it to make sure I got that right. It's 770-436-2218.
That's correct.
That's all I have, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Peters?
No questions, Your Honor.
Lawyers, may this witness be released and excused, Ms. Spina?
No objection. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, sir. Drive safely. Call your next witness. Please.
State calls Jan De Silva.
My name is Jan De Silva, Jan. Last name Dasilva.
Jan, where are you originally from?
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
And how long did you live in San Juan?
18 years.
Before we go any further, I just kind of want to clarify something. You're in blue jeans and a t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Did you intend to come to court dressed that way?
No, sir.
Okay. When did you get the call from us to come to court?
Approximately like an hour ago.
And where were you?
I was in college and attending a class.
Is that why you are in blue jeans and a t-shirt?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long have you been living in the United States?
Since December 2005.
And what is your first language?
Spanish.
In 2010, did you purchase a Bersa handgun?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when in 2010?
It was April 08, 2010.
April 8th, 2010?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the model of that handgun?
It was Bersa Thunder 40.
When you say 40, is that 40 caliber?
That's the name of the model, and it was a 40 caliber.
Where did you purchase the gun from?
Nick's Guns and Range.
Where is Nick's?
If I'm not mistaken, they're from Smyrna.
Smyrna, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
If you will take a look at, I believe you have State's Exhibit number 43, Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
You will take a look at what's been marked and previously admitted as State's Exhibit number 43 and tell me if you recognize that.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
This is a form I filled the day I bought the gun.
That's the actual form you filled out?
A copy of it. But yeah, this is the form.
And you filled it out when you purchased the weapon?
Yes, sir.
Does the date read April 8th, 2010?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature on the ATF form?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you about guns in general. Are you familiar with the operations, with the operation of handguns?
Yes, sir.
And how did you become familiar?
I attended the United States Navy, and I was trained to utilize weapons.
How long were you in the United States Navy?
Around 3 years.
And did you have any particular rank or class?
I was a petty officer for the United States Navy.
What was your job?
I was an AD, aviation machinist mate. I was basically a mechanic for the F-18 Super Hornets.
When you purchased this gun, this Bersa, what came with it?
2 magazines and a shell casing.
Do you recall what happened to the shell casing?
Yes, sir. It was given the day that I bought it to my girlfriend at that time.
Why did you give your girlfriend a shell casing?
It was my actual first gun that I actually bought. She was there. So, just like a gift, I guess. Just wanted to give something wasn't nothing special. Just for her to keep it.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Aurora Juarez.
Can you spell that for the record, please?
Aurora. Last name Juarez.
Thank you.
Now, are you and Miss Juarez still together?
Yes, sir.
During October 2010, did you list the gun for sale?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you had just purchased it in April of 2010, and in October you're putting it up for sale. Why?
I was paying for skydiving lessons, so I just needed the money to get licensed and certified. So I sold the gun.
Can you tell us where you actually listed the gun?
It was a website, gunlisting.org.
And when you listed this gun on gunlistings.org, did you receive any email contacts concerning the purchase of that gun?
Yes, sir.
How many?
Just one from gunlisting.org.
Do you know who the person was that contacted you?
Yes, sir.
What was his name?
Newman.
And when was this exactly?
It was around Halloween time,
And just for the record, when is Halloween?
October 31st.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but around October 31st?
Yes, sir.
What's your email address?
Jan_da Silva@yahoo.com.
Okay, can you spell it out for us?
JAN_DASILVA@yahoo.com.
What email address did you use to sell the weapon?
That email, sir.
Do you still have that email address?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever well, first of all, how did you and the defendant first have contact? You said you talked with him and you learned his name was Newman.
Yes. Basically, you list the gun online. He contacts me through the website, and when I responded to him, I utilized my personal email after he contacted me first for buying the gun. So that is why he actually got to know my personal email.
Okay, let's talk about the email correspondence. What was said via email?
Excuse me?
What was said during the email conversation?
The first email that he sent me was if I actually had the gun already still available for sale. And I just basically just answer him back and say yes, Bersa was available for sale.
Did you all ever set a date to actually meet and exchange money for the Bersa?
We had 2 attempts. The first attempt actually failed. I told him that I was gonna go skydiving during the weekend, and we actually had a set time, which I didn't make it. And then I sent an email apologizing for that. He sent me back another email telling me that he was all right, that he was actually looking to buy my gun or another gun, a Ruger. And if I still wanted to sell the gun, then make it happen. And that's what I did. We actually got together, and then I sold him the gun.
Now, this was a conversation that took place through email.
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you guys talk price or anything like that, or you just agreed?
The price was set on the website.
Okay. What was that price?
$375.
Is that $375?
$375.
You said you sold him the gun. Was that in person?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about the conversation that you and Newman had actually setting up the purchase.
I told him that we could meet Atlanta Fish Market, and he got my phone number. And basically after that, we just talked on the phone. It was a one call.
Can you tell us about that phone conversation? What did you say? What did he say?
Basically, he called me when he was close to where I was working during that time. It was Atlanta Fish Market, 265 Far Road, Buckhead. And we met there, and that's where the transaction happened.
Was this inside the restaurant or outside the restaurant?
Outside the restaurant, sir.
In the parking lot?
Parking lot, yes,
All
sir.
right, go ahead.
Do you see the person in court today that you sold the weapon to?
Yes, sir.
Can you identify him?
Yes, sir.
Will you point to him and describe what he has on?
That person, he's wearing right now glasses and what it seems to be a gray sweater.
Your Honor, the record may reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the person he sold the gun to.
All right, the record may so reflect. What kind of work were you doing at the fish market, the Atlanta Fish Market?
I attend school and I actually do valet parking. So I was valeting at that time.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. De Silva, what was your phone number at that time?
It was 787-378-9915.
Is that the phone number that the defendant used to call you on?
Yes, sir.
When you met him at the fish market, tell me where were you when you first saw him?
Basically, when you go inside the restaurant, there's a big driveway, and there was a valet hut. So I was waiting there. I told him to just pull forward, and he was driving in minivan, and so he just pulled forward, and that's when I approached him and explained, just presented myself and just make sure that he was the person who was coming to buy the gun.
Were you actually standing in the valet at that point when you told him to pull forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay, at some point did he tell you what because you had never seen him before, did he tell you what his automobile looked like?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what did he tell you the car looked like?
Honda Odyssey, that's a minivan model, color white.
What time of day was this?
I'll say during the evening.
And how long were you with the defendant this evening when you sold him the weapon?
15 to 20 minutes.
Did you have any conversations with him during the actual sale of the weapon?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that conversation.
He just told me that I told him that I was from Puerto Rico. He told me that he was actually from Puerto Rico as well. He spoke to me in Spanish. He told me that he graduated from Georgia Tech. I have an uncle back in Puerto Rico that graduated from Georgia Tech. I also mentioned that to him. And he told me he had kids that were going to Georgia Tech as well. And that's about it.
Did you talk with him about the gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you tell him about the gun?
I approached him with the box that came with the gun. I was showing everything, showing the gun, how the gun worked. Then I also brought him bullets, hollow points and target bullets. And I also gave him a cleaning kit for the gun.
Let's talk about the bullets. You said you gave him hollow points.
Yes, sir.
Is that the only type of bullet or ammunition that you gave him?
No, there's two types of ammunition. One, there were both Winchesters. One was hollow points. They're for self-defense. And the other one are just basically just a solid brass. It's for target practice. And there were Winchester as well.
Now, have you actually fired a hollow point bullet at a target before?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you fired the other type of ammunition at a target before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you familiar with the difference between a hollow point and the other bullet?
Yes, sir.
What's the difference?
Target bullets are just solid brass. They're not intended for self-defense. They just go in and out if you're shooting a person. Hollow point, they just, once they impact their person, their individual, it just spreads inside the body. and that's why they're intended for self-defense, to stopping whatever threat you're receiving.
Did he actually pay you for the gun?
Yes, sir.
Did he pay you the $375?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what form of payment did you receive?
Cash, sir.
Do you remember the denominations of the bills?
Yes, sir. They were all $20 bills, and since it was $375, I just gave him some change.
Did you ever ask him for identification?
Yes, sir.
Did he provide it?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember how many rounds of ammunition was in each box that you gave him?
There was around 50 hollow points and around, I'll say like 80 to 100 target bullets.
Okay. Was this the only conversation that you've ever had with the defendant, or did you have another one?
I did have another one, sir.
And can you tell me, first of all, when that other conversation took place?
The other conversation took place around November, and
When you say around November, do you have any idea of the exact day in November?
I don't know the exact sorry. I don't know the exact date of November, but I will say it was around my birthday, which was November 16th, and Thanksgiving also.
It was around Thanksgiving, between November the 16th and Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you remember the date?
Excuse me, so was it before your birthday, which is November 16th, or after your birthday?
I'm not quite sure of the exact date, but I remember it was during that season, Thanksgiving season.
During the Thanksgiving season?
Yes, sir. That's why I say November 16th, which is my birthday,
Right.
and then Thanksgiving Day.
All right, go ahead.
Where were you when you had this conversation?
I was at Bucket Diner.
Did you actually arrange a meeting with him?
No, sir.
Okay. And you had talked about the fish market earlier. What were you doing at Buckhead Diner?
I also work at Bucket Diner.
And are you a valet at Buckhead Diner as well?
Yes, sir.
What time of day was it?
During the evening as well.
And what was the defendant driving?
I never saw him driving anything. He just came and approached me.
Go ahead.
Basically, yeah, that's what happened. He just approached me, and I didn't see him driving anything.
Did you speak in English or Spanish this time?
English.
What did he say when he approached you?
He told me if I recognize him, say yes. He told me if I recognize him, he was the one who bought the gun. I told him yes, and he wanted to talk to me. Basically, he told me that something bad happened with the gun. I thought if it malfunctioned or something. He just told me he got rid of it. I asked him if he sold it or anything. He told me no. He just tossed it on the Lake Lanier, and that it was okay because he made sure that it was tossed in somewhere where nobody can find it. He then explained to me if I wanted to hear what he wanted to say or why, his explanation for it. I told him yes, I wanted to know. And he started off by saying, don't ever have a mistress.
Don't ever have a mistress?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
After that, I just say yes to him, and he basically just told me that he had a problem with the family because of having the problem with the mistress.
Okay, let me slow you down. I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You said he had a problem with the family.
Yes, sir.
Did he say what family he was having a problem with?
No, sir. His family.
His family.
His family.
Okay,
yes,
and
sir.
what was it about a mistress that he said next?
He just told me don't ever have a mistress, and then he then again told me I just have, because of it, I have a problem with my family, and he never again actually said anything about a mistress. He just told me that the family knew he had a gun, and there was like altercation, and that the gun was flashed or was seen by the members of the family, and they just all got scared, and he just basically needed to get rid of the gun as soon as possible.
How did you respond when he told you this?
He basically, when he told me all that, he then I don't even remember how I reacted. I was just there listening to him. Then after what he was telling me, he told me that probably there were some people that were going to try to contact me.
Did he say who these some people were?
No, sir. He just said that some people were trying that they were going to try to contact me, asking me about the gun, if I actually saw him the gun, or how I actually met him. And then he told me that if that happened, just to tell them that basically I met him just because I have friends from Georgia Tech. He was a graduate from Georgia Tech working at General Electric, and that I knew him just because I was trying to get my friends a job with General Electric.
So he asked you to say that you knew him from Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir.
Was that the truth?
No, sir.
How did you respond?
Basically, it was a awkward situation, and I wanted to get rid of everything that was going around me. So I basically told him, like, yes, I was going to lie for him. And he then tried to offer me money, which I refused.
How much did he offer you if he offered you money?
I actually didn't even count it, I just saw $20 bills and coming out of his pocket, and I told him, don't worry about it, it's okay. He then asked me like if it was really okay, and I was like, yeah, definitely. And I told him I needed to get back to work.
Next question.
Did you get back to work, or did y'all talk anymore?
No, we didn't talk anymore.
Did you ever see the defendant after that?
No, sir.
Did he go inside of the restaurant, or did he leave?
He left.
How did he know you were there?
He went to Atlanta Fish Market, and apparently he asked about me, and the people that were working, the valets that were working, told him where I was working, and that's how he actually went to Bucket Diner.
All right. Next question.
Did you ever speak with anyone else about your weapon after this?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
I approached 2 Atlanta Police Department officers.
You said you approached?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
And I told him what happened. And
Can you tell us a time frame? When did you do this?
No, that was the same day that happened.
All right, go ahead.
And I just asked him like if I was gonna be in trouble or something like that, just because of what had just happened. And they just told me like, if you sold the gun completely legal, there's nothing that's gonna be held against you. And by that time, I didn't know what was going on or nothing. So that's what I needed to hear by that time, and that's about it. That's when I just talked to them. Anything else after that?
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Were you shown a photo admonition form?
Yes, sir.
You're under, if the record may reflect, I'm showing opposing counsel what's been marked as states exhibit number 45. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I am showing you what has been previously marked as states exhibit number 45. Take a look at that and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, sir.
How do you recognize it?
I don't remember the day exactly. Well, actually, so we're here February 22nd. I received.
This is your signature on it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you sign that document?
Yes, sir.
Is it in the same condition as it was when you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Any alterations, deletions, or anything of that nature to it?
No, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I'll return to State's Exhibit number 45 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 45 is admitted without objection. You may publish it to the jury if you wish.
And when you were shown this document, was it read to you or did you read it?
It was read to me.
Okay, did you understand what was being said?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did anyone during the course of reading this document to you suggest to you that the person that they were looking for was somehow in the lineup?
No, sir.
After you read this, after this document was read to you, can you tell us whether or not you actually viewed a lineup?
Yes, sir. I did view the lineup.
Your Honor, I'm showing opposing counsel what has been marked as State Exhibit number 46.
Yes, sir.
May I approach?
You may.
Take a look at that and tell me if you recognize that document.
Yes, sir.
Is that the lineup that you viewed?
Yes, sir.
Any alterations, deletions, changes, or anything like that?
No, sir.
When you viewed the lineup, can you tell us which person? Can you tell us which person that you picked out?
Yes, sir. It was number 4 in the lineup.
And is that Hemi Newman?
Yes, sir.
Again, did anyone suggest to you who the person was?
No, sir.
Did anybody even tell you that the person was in the lineup?
No, sir.
Thank you. No further questions at this point.
Did you, maybe I didn't, did you want to move in 46?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize.
No problem. Any objection to 46 being moved in?
We have no objection to 46.
46 moved in without objection. You may publish it to the jury if you wish. And Mr. James, did you have any questions, any additional questions?
No, sir.
All right. You may cross-examine Mr. Rubin if you wish.
Your Honor, we have no questions from Mr. Silva.
All right. Lawyers, may Mr. De Silva be released and excused from his subpoena?
Yes, sir.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Have a good day. Drive safely.
Thank you.
Lawyers approach.
State and spell your name for the record.
My name is John Turner, Turner.
Mr. Turner, how were you employed?
I worked part-time at Pinnell's Range. Actually, I was not a full-time employee or anything. I worked there and got free range time, free targets, discounts on things I wanted to buy. I'm retired. It's sort of a hobby thing.
Well, let's talk about Pinnell's Range a little bit. Where is Pinnell's Range?
It's at Woodstock, Texas, on Main Street, just south of the city limits.
Woodstock, Texas?
Sorry, I live in Texas, Woodstock, Georgia.
Okay.
Where you live in Texas now?
I do now, yes, sir.
Were you living in Georgia back in November of 2010?
Yes, sir, I was.
Were you assisting at Pinnell's gun range back in November 2010?
Yes, sir, I was.
What were your duties in general?
I waited on customers, assisted any way I could. One of the major things was signing in people who came in to use the shooting range.
How many ranges did they have there?
We have 6 lanes. Each lane can accommodate up to 2 people.
On November the 1st of 2010, were you working that day?
Yes, sir.
What was the phone number in November of 2010 to Pinnell's gun range?
770-928-9012.
9012?
Mm-hmm.
All right. On November the 1st of 2010, did you rent a firing position to a Hemi Newman?
Yes, sir, I did.
Now, when you rent a firing position, do you require anything like identification?
Yes, sir. We not only require to see it and make sure that it actually is that person, but we get a copy of it, which is retained for records.
Did you get a copy and see it in this case?
Yes, sir.
Did the photo and the individuals standing in front of you match?
Yes, sir, they did.
Did you make a copy of the license?
Yes, sir.
Did Hemi Newman rent a gun from you?
No, sir.
Did he have a gun with him?
Yes, sir, he did.
Did he purchase ammunition from you?
No, sir, he purchased only one target.
Tell us about that target that he purchased.
It was a silhouette target, roughly, say, 2.5 feet by 4 feet, approximate size of human silhouette target. I cannot tell you which of the two, but it was one of the two silhouette targets that we have that sell for $1. That's the only target we have that sells at that price.
Is that the only type of target that y'all have?
No, sir, we have others. That is the one that's used by most people who buy a firearm for whatever reason.
Well, what are the other type of targets that you have other than
Bullseye target, which is just scoring rings.
But the human silhouette target is, what does that look like? Does that look like an actual person?
No, sir, it's not like an actual person. It's just a representation, I guess you'd say, but it doesn't have any detail to it. It just has scoring rings on it.
You talked about earlier renting a firing position to Mr. Hemi Newman. When you did that, you filled out paperwork. Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I am showing opposing counsel what has been marked as exhibit number 47.
You may approach.
Showing you what has previously been marked as stage exhibit number 47. Take a look at that front and back and tell me if you can identify that.
Yes, sir.
Is that a record that is kept at Pinnell's gun range?
Yes, sir. It's kept for everyone who uses the range.
Are you familiar with the process of keeping that record at Pinnell's gun range?
Yes, sir.
Are the records open to the public?
No, sir.
Are they just available to employees there?
To employees, or if there's a reason, for example, law enforcement request to see it, anything like that. It's partially a liability thing. If there were any claim that some incident happened on the range or that sort of thing, it's required that we keep it.
Is that record kept in the ordinary course of business at Pinnell's gun range?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time I would tender state's exhibit number 47 into evidence.
Any objection to 47?
No, sir.
47 is admitted without objection. May publish to the jury.
Can you tell us what we're looking at on the first page here? You can look in front of
There's a
you.
screen back here on this monitor here.
Yes, sir. This form is a set beginning at the top. It lists the range safety rules. It's required that people read that and then sign here that they have acknowledged and understand those rules. And toward the bottom, there's a place for listing anything that they purchased or rented. Had they rented a weapon, it would be filled in over here by make, model, serial number, that sort of thing. The first figure at the bottom left of the sheet is the time that they go onto the range. The figure on the right side there is the time they finish on the range. That's used to calculate what they pay.
Let me ask you about this sheet. What time did Hemi Newman go onto the range?
6:35 p.m.
And what time did he leave?
7:05 p.m.
Where it says, by signing below, I acknowledge that I have read and I understand the above release. Can you tell us whether or not Hemi Newman actually signed and printed his name on the document?
Yes, sir, he did. We required the printing because if we can't read the signature, we can still.
And what date was that?
That was on November the 1st.
What year? What year?
That would be 2010.
Thank you.
If you could turn the state's exhibit number 47 on its backside over. Can you tell us whether or not he actually presented identification by looking at that page?
Yes, sir.
Is that the identification that he provided?
Yes, sir, it is.
That's a copy of it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Peters, any questions?
We have no questions, Your Honor.
Floor has been, Mr. Attorney, released and excuse me, speaking.
Yes, sir. No objection.
Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Attorney. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Have a good day.